Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the TFT show. Ali, what do you have in your locker today?
So guys, we've got a new segment that we've decided to introduce into the show. And in this segment, we'll be talking about players of football heritage, football from the 1950s and 60s and 70s, but footballers who were overshadowed by maybe other players during that time in their generation, who were great players, who were performing at the highest level. And today, in my locker, I've got, arguably you could say, one of the best French midfielders of his generation. Today we'll be talking about Michel Platini. Now, long before analytics and algorithms took hold of football, there was Michel Platini, a Frenchman with a philosopher's mind and an artist's touch. Born in 1955 in Joffre, Platini grew up in a working-class family where football wasn't just a game, it was an escape. Now, little did the world know that the boy juggling balls on the streets of Lorraine would one day redefine what it meant to be a midfielder. Platini began his professional career at AS Nancy in 1972, where he quickly rose to prominence. More than just a clever passer or a set-piece specialist, he was a complete attacking force. By the time he left Nancy in 1979, he scored 98 goals in 181 games and delivered them their first major trophy, the 1978 Coupe de France. He moved on to Saint-Étienne, France's biggest club at the time, where he won the Ligue 1 in 1981. His playstyle evolved, less raw, it was more refined. He wasn't just orchestrating attacks, he was finishing them. Platini ended his French club career with 100 plus goals in a staggering feat for a player whose primary position was in midfield. Now in 1982, Michel Platini took a new challenge. Juventus, where Italian defenders guarded goals like a fortress, but Platini had the key. He struggled to play first, to adapt to Serie A, physicality, defense, but his second season, he was unstoppable. He led the Serie A as the top scorer 3 years in a row, between 1983 to 1985, in an almost unheard of achievement for a midfielder. With Platini pulling the strings and finishing moves, Juventus conquered Europe. He scored the winning goal in the 1985 European Cup final, now known as the Champions League, against Liverpool, albeit from the penalty spot, but in a match that was tragically overshadowed by the Hazel Stadium disaster. Still though, that win completed an incredible trophy haul for Michel Platini. 2 Serie A titles, 1 Coppa Italia, 1 European Cup, 1 Super Cup, and 1 Cup Winners' Cup. By the end of his club career, Platini had recorded 224 goals in 432 games, with dozens of assists that helped define Juve's golden era. For 5 years, he was the dominant force in European football. I'm going to talk about the Ballon d'Or as well, because Platini's peak was so pronounced that he won the Ballon d'Or 3 years in a row. 1983, 1984, 1985. He was the first player in Ballon d'Or history to win that Ballon d'Or 3 years in a row. He was named UEFA Player of the Year, French Footballer of the Year, and was widely regarded as the best player in the world during that time. His blend of goals, grace, and leadership had no equal. Platini's crowning moment, though, came on home soil in 1984 during the European Championship. As captain of France, he didn't just lead, he electrified. In 5 games, he scored 9 goals, a record that still stands. The defining moment came in the semi-final against Portugal. Portugal were leading 2-0 at the time. Michel Platini brought it back to 2-2. And in the 119th minute of extra time, he ghosted into the box, slammed the ball home. Shirts pulled, eyes blazing, arms raised. It wasn't just a winning goal, it was a statement. France has arrived. France would go on to beat Spain in the final, lifting their first ever major international trophy, with Platini winning player of the tournament. Now we look at his goals. in official games, right? Platini scored 265 goals in 504 official games. That's a 0.53 calls per game ratio for a midfielder. You look at greats like Zidane with a 0.16 goals per game ratio. Makes you wonder. No one's come close. Michel Platini wasn't just a midfielder who scored goals. He was a midfielder who transformed them. He blurred the lines between playmaker and striker. His game was a symphony, and he was both the conductor and the soloist. And though his post-playing years as a football executive brought controversy on the pitch, Platini's legacy remains pure. A genius in boots who played with a poet's elegance and a predator's instinct.